Luke 5, 17 to 26. Now pay attention. Luke 5, 17, 26. Same Luke. Long before you get to Luke 18, all these verses you would have read. Let me read to you. Ready?
Yes.
Luke 5, 17 to 26. On one of those days, as he was teaching, there were Pharisees and teachers of law sitting by who had come from every village of Galilee and Judea and from Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with him to heal, meaning his own power. He is the Lord, and his power was with him. And behold, men were bringing on a bed a man who was paralyzed, and they sought to bring him in and lay him before Jesus. But finding no way to bring him in because of the crowd, there was too many people blocking the door, so they couldn't bring the paralyzed man through the door. So what do? They went up on the roof and let him down with his bed through the tiles into the midst before Jesus. So they went up the roof and tore the roof open to lower down the man on his mat. Now watch. And when he saw their faith, he said, man, your sins are forgiven you. So Jesus looked at the man and saw the faith of his companions, that they had such faith that if we bring our friend to Jesus, Jesus has the power to heal him. Jesus said, your sins are forgiven. Now watch what the Jewish scholars said, those who know the law.
No one can forgive sins except for God.
Yep, and the scribes and the Pharisees began to question, saying, who is this that speaks blasphemies? Kufr, shirk. Who can forgive sins but God only? Now notice Jesus doesn't correct them. Watch what he did not say. He didn't say, hey, I'm not forgiving. Allah's revealing to me, Allah have forgave him. I'm his messenger. Look what he says. When Jesus perceived their questionings, he answered them, why do you question in your hearts? So notice the second thing. Jesus knows what they're thinking in their hearts because they didn't say it out loud. They were thinking it in their mind. Why do you question in your hearts? So you knew what they were thinking in their hearts. Which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven you, or to say, rise and walk? Now, obviously, if I say to you, your sins are forgiven, you can't prove or disprove it. But if you are paralyzed and I say, get up and walk, and you don't walk, I just embarrass myself, right?
Yes.
So it's easy for me to say, hey, buddy, your sins are forgiven. Okay. You can't prove or disprove it because sin is not something you see with your eyes. So Jesus is saying, which is easier? Your sins are forgiven or rise and walk? Obviously, if I say to this man, rise and walk, and he doesn't walk, I expose myself as a liar. But now, to prove to you, I have the power to do the thing you can't see with your eyes, forgive sins. I'm now going to heal this man physically, something you'll see with your eyes. And this miracle should convince you I have the power to do the unseen, forgive sins. So now watch. Look what he says. Which is easier, right? To say to the man, your sins are forgiven you, or rise and walk. But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. You see what he did not say? Allah revealed to me by wahi, Allah forgave him. I'm not doing it. No, no, no. So you may know that I, the Son of Man, have this power to forgive sins. I'm going to do this miracle. He said to the man who was paralyzed, I say to you, rise, take up your bed and go home. And immediately he rose before them. Immediately he got healed. In front of their eyes, they couldn't deny it. And took up that on which he lay and went home glorifying God. And amazement seized them all. And they glorified God and were filled with awe, saying, we have seen strange things today. Yeah, because they're baffled. Like, wow. We saw a Jewish man claim to have the power to forgive sins, something we know only God can do. And yet he did the miracle. We saw it. He did the physical miracle. We can't deny it. Now the man's walking. A man who was paralyzed. As proof he can forgive sins. Wow. What in the world is going on? So now let me ask you a question. If Jesus is less than absolutely good, and he's a creature, how did he then heal the man miraculously to prove he has the power to forgive sins? Because if he's not God, he can't forgive sins. And if he's not God, he needs to be saved and forgiven.
Yeah.
So now, if I read Luke 5 before I got to Luke 18, and I saw Jesus just claim to be God in the flesh, because he has the power to forgive sins, and he does a physical miracle to prove he has that power, which means he must be God. And if he's God, he's absolutely good. Do you really think that when I get to Luke 18, I'm going to assume that Jesus is saying, look, I'm not good because I'm not God?
No, it's like
Thank
when
you.
when it is used in Luke, like it's in a different context.
Okay.